The Senate will now come to order. Please find your seats. The Pledge of Allegiance will now be led by Chief of Staff Tax, followed by a moment of silence and reflection.
If willing and able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. You may be seated.
The clerk will now call the roll. Please correct the pronunciation of your name if it is incorrect.
Baber. Proxy. Barnes. Present. Barr. Bean. Present. Bracy. Proxy. Bryant. Here. Byer. Calder. Here. Cost. Present. Creed. Present. Durham. Present. Felix. Galavati. Galt. Proxy. Goldstein. Proxy. Brunner. Haber. Hamilton. Harvey. Hensley. Hurd. Howe. Kay. Kwame. LaPinta. Lapsley. Lazarenu. Lynn. Malachi. Brandon Miller. Isabella Miller. Montalto. Morgan. Peterson. Rangavajula. Ravi. Sane. Sellers. Spitler. Tanner. Vaught. Wall. Wenzel. Whitehead.
With a quorum being present, is there a motion to approve the Journal of December 6th, 2023 as found online? Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. We are now in line for general orders of the Senate, beginning with reports from Senate leadership. Chairman Bryant, you are recognized to give a report on the Rules Committee.
Good evening, everybody. I am not the Senator, Speaker Pro Tempore, but I'll be filling in for Pro Temp Baber. We met yesterday. We weren't able to meet during the weekend just due to the fact that we were all coming back from break and everything like that. So we had a brief meeting yesterday. We had some updates and reports from the committee chairs, and we approved one bill that you'll be seeing this on the floor this evening. I yield to questions.
The chairman yields to questions. Are there any questions for the chairman? Seeing none, thank you so much. We will now hear a report from the Academics Committee. Chairwoman Creed, you are recognized.
Hi, everyone. I hope everybody had a great break. Glad to be back. So, as discussed before break, me and my committee put together a list of things we wanted to work on at the last part of this term. Some of my senators have been working on stuff over break. Senator Sellers and Senator Bean actually met today with Bill Brown, who is the coordinator of transfer advising, and discussed stuff like transfer orientation, promotion of U102 for transfer students, and kind of implementing scholarships for incoming transfer students, since we're the only school in the SEC that does not offer those kind of resources, which I'm very proud of. They've done a lot of hard work over the break, and I continue to support them. We've also discussed, me and Senator LaPinta have discussed kind of addressing some concerns about fees that aren't shown, like lab fees that aren't shown on certain classes when you sign up. So kind of making that more known. And a lot of other great ideas that I look forward to meeting with my committee next week, discussing and getting the ground running, hitting the ground running, and getting that done before the end of the term. With that, I yield my time to questions.
The chairwoman yields to questions. Are there any questions for the chairwoman? Seeing none, thank you so much. We will now hear a report from the Finance Committee. Chairwoman Durham, you are recognized.
Hi, everyone. Hope you had a good break. We did not meet the Friday before break, but we are going to meet on this Friday, so there are no current updates. I yield my time to questions.
The chairwoman yields to questions. Are there any questions for the chairwoman? Seeing none, thank you so much. We'll now hear a report from the Health and Safety Committee. Chairwoman Ravi, you are recognized.
Hi guys, I hope everybody had a restful break. Not much to update on since we have not met in a couple weeks. With that being said, we basically are going to be working towards the menstrual product drive. Like I said in the last session, we're going to be focusing on doing a social media campaign, a Pius Senator event, and collabing with other organizations as well to raise funds and products so that we can stock our library. And then we will also be pursuing our individual projects as senators and wrapping up our term by doing so. That's pretty much it. I yield to questions.
The chairwoman yields to questions. Are there any questions for the chairwoman? Seeing none, thank you so much. We'll now hear a report from the Inclusion and Equity Committee. Is there anyone willing to give a report? Seeing none, we'll now hear a report from the Judiciary Committee. Chairman Bryant, you are recognized.
Good evening again. So Judiciary has not met due to the break and everything like that. However, we will be meeting Tuesday evening. This will not be our regular meeting time. Our regular meeting time should be Fridays at 1 p.m. in the LSC. But we expect to have 3 different hearings on that evening, and it will be held at the School of Law, KJ Williams courtroom, and they are public. Sometime between 6 to 8. Time is contingent on when I receive my room reservation confirmation. But with that, I will yield to questions.
The chairman yields to questions. Are there any questions for the chairman? Seeing none, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Senator Gruner, if you would like to come and give a report from the Inclusion and Equity Committee. I apologize for not seeing your placard.
Hey guys, really quickly, while we didn't meet this week, we still plan to move forward with all the plans from fall semester. So we'll be working more with ADA. We're also going to be working more with other events like that do diversity, equity, inclusion, like the hip hop on Wednesdays, and we'll be working with other groups to increase the diversity for that.
Do you yield to questions?
I yield the questions.
Senator Gruner yields to questions. Are there any questions for the senator?
Thank you.
Seeing none, thank you so much. We will now hear a report from the Powers and Responsibilities Committee. Chairman Harvey, you are recognized.
Hey y'all, we have not picked a new meeting time yet, so I haven't been able to schedule the 2 interviews I have set up. So if you are in Powers and can stay a little after so we can discuss the new meeting time, that would be great. Yield to questions.
The chairman yields to questions. Are there any questions for the chairman? Seeing none, thank you so much. We will now hear a report from the Student Life Committee. Chairwoman Malachi, you are recognized.
Hey y'all, happy Wednesday. Student Life hasn't met because we meet Mondays at 6 p.m. and that was the first day of classes. Just to highlight something that we did do though, we were successful with our legislation with the recommendation, and now on Garnet Gate there is a link to Garnet Gate that's shown on Blackboard now, so that's a success. That's something that came out of our committee last term. And with that, we're just going to continue with our personal projects. With that, I yield my time to questions.
The chairwoman yields to questions. Are there any questions for the chairwoman? Seeing none, thank you so much. We'll now hear a report from the Sustainability Committee. Chairman Hensley, you are recognized.
Hey y'all, so we haven't met in an official capacity since last session. However, a couple of us met with the Green CERT team from Sustainable Carolina the Thursday before break, I believe. And that was a really productive meeting, just talking about the next steps going forward with the green certification legislation that was passed last semester. Other than that, I don't have any other updates. I will ask that Sustainability Committee members just have a brief meeting to decide a new meeting time It's like over here afterward. That's all. With that, I yield for questions.
The chairman yields to questions. Are there any questions for the chairman? Seeing none, thank you so much. We'll now hear a report from Freshman Council. Are there any representatives from Freshman Council present? You are recognized to come give a report before the body.
My name is Fred Pearson from the Student Life Committee from FROCO. The meetings that we did do this Monday, we changed how we met so we know each other better. We found that was really important because all we were doing is just talking about different things but not knowing each other as a whole. We have some different events going on. So we have a cast-off event that the Student Life Committee is hosting next Tuesday. So it'd be great if y'all come. It's the 16th. It's a really big deal for us. There's also a gala February 8th for equity and inclusion, just to get people out there, to get people together. And then there's also hot drinks for hot takes in the future with the academic committee. I yield my time for questions.
The representative yields to questions. Are there any questions for the representative? Senator Morgan?
It might be somewhere next week. That's all I can really tell you. I'm sure I can get some information about that, but I'm sure to let you know whenever you want. Yeah.
Any other questions for the
Oh,
representative?
it is hot chocolate, by the way, from the Russell House people. Good hot chocolate. Yeah.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you so much. Let's give him a round of applause. We are now in line for a report from the Constitutional Council. Chief Justice Buchmeyer, you are recognized.
Hope everyone had a great break. I have nothing to report myself, and I checked in with Associate Justice Jackson. He also has nothing to report, so with that, I'll yield to questions.
The Chief Justice yields to questions. Are there any questions for the Chief Justice? Seeing none, thank you so much.
Thank you all.
We will now hear a report from the Speaker of the Senate, Cameron Eubanks. Chief of Staff, Courtney Tax, you are recognized.
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. We have 2 months left. So just wanted to clarify a few things, just a reminder for everything. For our attendance policy, you do get 3 unexcused absences, and those do carry over from last semester, so you do not start off with a clean slate this semester. You will get an email after your 3rd, and if you do get another absence past your 3rd, there will be a motion to remove you from your position. But with our new policy put into place, you can do 2 student government events that we deem an event. And if you do 2 of them, that is 1 absence that is taken off. It will be considered an unexcused absence or an excused absence. I'm happy to announce that we have 2 interviews for assistant clerk this week. So we will have an assistant clerk next week. We are very, very excited. So we will let you know who that is this next week. Another reminder for dress code, it is business professional. I understand that sometimes it is hard, especially if you have a class before or other circumstances. But just know I sometimes go to class in this. You only get a few weird looks, I promise. So if you can, potentially consider going to class in your business professional. But if you don't have any business professional, we do have the Carolina Closet that does allow you to get free business professional clothing that you do keep. Also, we are here for you. Our entire staff is here for you. If you have any questions on legislation or anything regarding Senate, please reach out to us. We have Hannah, who's absolutely incredible. She can help you with all of your legislation needs. She's sitting over here. Raise your hand, Hannah. So please reach out to us if you have any questions at all. Again, we only have 2 months left. We want to make sure that we are using the most out of that time. And then if you can, please come out to the lighting and floating of lanterns that Freshman Council is putting on. It'll be January. It's called Carolina Cast Off. It's January 16th from 4:30 to 6. You'll be floating down lanterns into the Thomas Cooper Fountain to illuminate your New Year's resolutions. And with that, I yield my time to questions.
The Chief of Staff yields to questions. Are there any questions for the Chief of Staff? Seeing none. And point of information, wearing business professional to class sometimes can be fun. All of you look really good in business professionals, so own it. Own it. And with that, we are now in line for a report from the student body treasurer. Treasurer Augsbach Lama, you are recognized.
Hi everyone. There isn't too major of updates in my branch, but there is going to be somewhere between $10,000-$15,000 back in the student activity budget. So that will be allocated likely this Friday, as long as everything's sorted out, if not next week. But other than that, there's just, my staff is working on a list of alternative resources to get funding other than just student government. So if you know of anything within your particular school or anything like that might be in the university, please feel free to reach out to me. I just want to get an extensive list to give to student orgs, because obviously it gets tight this time of year when there isn't any funding coming from us. But other than that, I yield to questions.
The treasurer yields to questions. Are there any questions for the treasurer? Seeing none, thank you so much. We are now in line for a report from the student body vice president. Vice President Reeves, you are recognized.
Hello, everyone. Not too much from me yet. Hope y'all are all doing great with your classes, getting acclimated to campus again, but we will be opening the Swipe Out Hunger application next Tuesday. So keep an eye out for that. If you know anyone that's in need, please encourage them to apply. And then I also will be posting about this tonight or tomorrow, but the SG awards scholarships are the applications live, and it's open to all students. There's requirements on there, but those will be those are listed on the website. But like I said, we'll be putting out a post that has more information about each of those. But with that, I yield to questions.
The vice president yields to questions. Are there any questions for the vice president? Seeing none, thank you so much. We are now in line for a report from the student body president. President Thompson, you are recognized.
Hey guys, I'm excited to be back with y'all and spend these next 2.5-ish months with everybody. Just to put on y'all's radar, these are the important remaining dates for SG-wide events. So Thursday, February 1st is the mandatory State of the Student Body address. Hoops Week, which is a partnership that we're doing with GE, I'll talk about it a little bit later, is February 6th through the 13th. Tuesday, February 13th is Carolina Day at the State House, and Thursday, March 14th is tentatively when we're having the SG Awards banquet. And then keep your eye on the GroupMe for 2 more fun events coming throughout the semester as well. And I know I sent this in the GroupMe over break, but I did present to the board on IT and Wi-Fi at the December meeting. It was very well received. From that, as soon as the new CIO is in place, network modernization across campus is going to be a top priority. Funds are being dedicated to fixing the current debt, and hopefully that will be a recurring thing going forward in the budget. The board is super passionate about this with us, so they've asked reports back from leadership. They understand how big of a problem this is, so we should see some progress over time. But I was really happy to get to advocate for something that I know so many of us deem an important issue. Over break, facilities also completed several LED lighting projects that I sent in the GroupMe. The prime example is the one by the Sunwalt building between Main Street and the Horseshoe. And then reminder that if you want to attend the Carolinas College Food Insecurity Summit on Saturday, February 17th, you need to register by Friday, and that link is in the GroupMe. I had a successful last hibachi by the Horseshoe. We have given out over 100 pounds of teriyaki chicken to the student body during this term, which was pretty fun. But like I mentioned earlier, the State of the Student Body is February 1st. For those of you that haven't been in student government in previous years, this functions very similar to President Amaritas' State of the University. So it's a very official and formal event. The board and administration will be present. It'll be in Rutledge Chapel. The Constitutional Council justices will wear their robes. So it is mandatory that you be there. I'll be speaking on initiatives that we've accomplished this year, initiatives that are still in the works throughout the rest of the term, and then general progress of the student body. But it'll incorporate information from all of our branches, so just make sure your corresponding exec knows if there's something that you want specifically to be included. Hoops Week, like I talked about earlier, is a collaboration between us, GE, and then the men's and women's basketball teams. So it'll be a week leading up with several men's and women's basketball games to 2 SEC games that weekend. And so we'll be doing 2 student government tailgates. And then we're also working on an Uber discount for throughout that weekend. It's Super Bowl weekend as well. So just a great way to use our funds for students. Carolina Day being Tuesday, February 13th. That's our big advocacy day at the State House. Please try to come. You can get excused for class if you're coming. And please keep signing up for thank you notes so the GR team does not have to do all of those on their own. Our staff is also working on the form to vote for a Department Collaboration Award. And that recognizes a department on campus that's worked very beneficially with us. So looking forward to y'all voting on that. Cabinet's working on getting 24-hour library again for the spring, resolving some Greek Village ticketing issues, a DEI fashion show with the support of OMSA, and the deadline for professors to have grades submitted prior to final exam period. And then just some large-scale projects I'm working on right now is securing the funding for Uber for the fall. The BOT presentation for next week, I'll be presenting on the new student union, campus activity fee, and parking. And then some other large-scale, longer-term projects like 5 Points, Homecoming, et cetera. Just some brief parking updates. Technology, Park Zen, I know I've talked about it briefly, which is where you'll be able to go on your phone and see available spots and then where your car is parked. That will be in place by the end of the spring semester. And it will also be working for move-in, so parents can see the most convenient places to park their cars during move-in. And then we're also working on a dynamic parking model, which won't come into fruition in the next year, but hopefully at some point with tiered pricing based on demand for garages. And then last thing for me, if you're a senior, please fill out the form Jordan Velez sent in the group me. It's really crucial for cords and just some other fun senior recognitions. Oh, and then to touch on Courtney's point about business professional, there is a coat rack now in the LSC back closet. So if you want to change when you get here, you're more than welcome to hang your stuff there. Thanks to Emma, that closet's cleaned out, so please take advantage of it. But sorry that was a lot. With that, I will yield to questions.
And the student body president yields to questions. Are there any questions for the president? Senator LaPinta.
It's going to be at 6.
Any other questions? Senator Felix?
February 1st. And we'll be sending out lots of information about it. I just wanted to go ahead and get all of those dates on y'all's radar.
Any other questions for the student body president? And point of inquiry, will Nick Saban be coming to USC?
Unfortunately, well, no, I love Beamer, so not unfortunately, but Nick Saban has not accepted a job here. He is going fully into retirement. Thank you so much, Speaker Eubanks.
Any other questions for the student body president? Seeing none, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
We are now in line for a period of special orders of the Senate. Are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other? Their clerk will now read.
A communication from the Office of the Speaker of the Student Senate requesting a 1-week extension for the following positions. Assistant Clerk.
The question is of a 1-week extension on the appointment of Assistant Clerk. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The extension's granted. Continuing on.
A communication from the Office of the Speaker of the Student Senate concerning the resignation of Chancellor Wynne, Patrick Kuhn, and Emily Heater from the position of Student Senator.
Received. Continuing on.
A communication from the Office of the Student Body President concerning the resignation of Brian Scheffler, Mariah Hoover, and Emily Rabun from their respective positions.
Received. Continuing on.
A communication from the Office of the Student Body President concerning the nomination of Alex Blumenthal to the position of Elections Commission member.
The nomination is referred to the Judiciary Committee. Continuing on.
A communication from the Office of the Student Body President concerning the nomination of Macy Galt to the position of Constitutional Counsel Justice.
The nominee is referred to the Judiciary Committee. Continuing on.
A communication from the Office of the Student Body President concerning the nomination of Brianna Smalls to the position of Director of CAB.
This nomination is referred to the Judiciary and Powers and Responsibilities Committee. Continuing on.
A communication from the Office of the Student Body President concerning the nomination of Talia Porzio to the position of Division Secretary of Campus Wellbeing.
This nomination is referred to the Health and Safety and Sustainability Committees. Continuing on.
Application of Anita John and Bella Brash to be seated in the 115th Student Senate.
These applications are referred to the Powers and Responsibilities Committee. Continuing on.
A communication from the Office of the Speaker of the Student Senate concerning the approval of the following committee assignments. Natalia Beyer, Student Life and Inclusion and Equity, Joshua Wall, Finance and Student Life, Mara Bean, Academics and Inclusion and Equity, and Kaylin Felix, Inclusion and Equity and Sustainability.
The question is of approval of committee assignments. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The committee assignments are approved. Continuing on. Seeing no more special orders of the Senate, we are now in line for the motion period. Are there any motions on the floor? And just as a reminder, this is a time where you can remove yourself or add yourself to any committee of your choosing. You can be up to 3 and a minimum of 1. Are there any motions on the floor? Chairman Bryant. There's been a motion to remove Senator Baber from the Finance Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Are there any other motions on the floor? Senator Hamilton. There's been a motion to add Senator Hamilton to the Powers and Responsibilities Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Is there any other motions? Senator Whitehead? There's been a motion to remove Senator Whitehead from the Health and Safety Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Calder? There's been a motion to remove Senator Calder from the Finance Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Felix? There's been a motion to remove Senator Felix from the Sustainability Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator LaPenta? Health and Safety Committee? There's been a motion to remove Senator LaPenta from the Health and Safety Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Any other motions? Senator Felix? There's been a motion to add Senator Felix to the Health and Safety Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Calder? There's been a motion to add Senator Calder to the Judiciary Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Are there any other motions on the floor? Senator Rangavajula? There's been a motion to remove the senator from the Finance Ad Hoc Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Senator Peterson? There's been a motion to remove Senator Peterson from the Equity and Inclusion Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Is there any other motions on the floor? Senator Bean? There's been a motion to remove Senator Bean from the Inclusion and Equity Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Any other motions on the floor? Senator Bean? There's been a motion to add Senator Bean to the Health and Safety Committee. Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. Any other motions on the floor? All right. Is the committee standings within acceptable quorum? Is there a motion? Seeing no more motions, is there a motion to dispense with the motion period? Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. We're now on the call of the introduction of new legislation. The clerk will now read.
SBL 11546, introduced by Chairman Bryant, a bill to hold committees accountable to nominees.
Chairman Bryant, you are recognized to speak on the legislation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So this is the first reading of this bill. This is a bill that I was asked to write at the request of President Thompson. Essentially, if you've not had a chance to look at it, what it does is once a nomination is read across the speaker's desk, like he does during special orders or any speaker following, there's a 48-hour time period that the committee chair or committee must reach out to the nominee for an invitation to come and interview or have a hearing with them. And that just to make sure that we are holding ourselves as committees accountable to these people to ensure that all the nominees are able to come, they're able to have their due process, and are not being just left in the cold, and we're making sure that we're being diligent in communicating with them and getting them to where they need to go. And with that, I will yield to questions.
The chairman yields to questions. Are there any questions for the chairman? Senator Morgan?
I can't.
I'm going to germane that to the discussion. I think giving personal cases about certain nominees is a little on the line of not being super relevant. If you have any questions about the bill itself, I will recognize those. Senator Hamilton.
That's just to ensure that that's a deterrent to ensure that we're continuing to make sure that people are actually following through. There's carrot and sticks that we have when you're doing something, and essentially there's no punitive action that's actually done. It's just to be like, what happened? Like, is there confusion? Do you not have the people's names? Do you need a memo that has their contact information on it? And also just for full transparency, I sent this, and this has all been looked at, reviewed, and approved by the president.
Any other questions for the chairman? Seeing none, thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Seeing no more questions, this legislation is referred to the Judiciary Committee. Continuing on the call, the introduction of new legislation, the clerk will now read. Hearing none, we are now on the call of the uncontested calendar. The clerk will now read. Hearing none, that completes the call of the uncontested calendar. We are now on the call of the contested calendar. The clerk will now read. Hearing none, we are now in line for a period of open discussion. Does any senator wish to bring a matter of attention to the body? Seeing none, we are now in line for a period of announcements. Are there any announcements on the floor? Senator Tanner, you are recognized.
Hey everyone, so next Tuesday the 16th, Phi Delta Phi is having an interest meeting for anyone interested in joining. It's in Russell, room 203 at 6:30. If you haven't heard of Phi Delta Phi, it's a pre-law fraternity and legal honor society here at USC. We'd love to see anyone out there. If you're pre-law, interested to go in the legal field at all, we'd love to see you. And we'd really love to see you 2 weeks from now on the 22nd when Rush starts. So thank you.
The senator yields to questions. Are there any questions for the senator? Seeing none, thank you so much. Are there any other announcements on the floor? Seeing none, as always, I do have an announcement. First, I wanted to welcome you all back onto campus. I know for me, the transition back into school has not been as smooth as I would like, so I hope that the first week of classes is going super well for you guys. Just to echo what Courtney said, we only have 9 sessions left in the term. That still is a lot of time to get things done. So now is the time to kick it into high gear. If you have any ideas about legislation, if you have any ideas you want to bounce off of people, your chairpersons are there for you, your vice chairpersons are there for you, my staff is there for you. Please reach out. If you want to work on projects as a committee, that is encouraged, especially if you're maybe a new senator and you haven't done any legislation by yourself. Talk to your committee and see who would like to co-sponsor it with you to help you write it. Like I said, we have plenty of resources in the drive. There's a PowerPoint on how to write legislation that goes through all 3 steps. My director of Legislative Services, Hannah, is also more than willing to help you. That is her whole job, so please feel free to reach out to her. Like I said, there's a lot of really good things that have been in the works that I've been hearing over winter break, so keep it up. If you are having meetings with anyone outside of student government, make sure that you have CC'd myself, Courtney, or your chairperson, or Speaker Pro Tempore Baber on those emails so we can be kept in the loop. And again, just when you're emailing people outside of student government, make sure to keep it professional. There's also examples of that in the drive of what like an email reaching out to an administrative counterpart looks like. So again, just keep meeting with those individuals, keep trying to bounce ideas off, and keep writing legislation. I would love if, as a Senate, we could get over 60 pieces of legislation this term. I think all the legislation that has come before has been very effective, and as Chairwoman Malachi pointed out, are actually happening, are actually in the works, right? The Sumwalt Lighting Project, the library, that has all come from legislation from you guys regarding campus safety and regarding the library being open. So please keep it up. When we talked about attendance, please keep that in mind. Committees does count in that 3 unexcused absences. So we're going to be getting a little bit more stricter with the committee attendance. So vice chairs, please submit those so we have a detailed record of that. We are offering a forgiving event in January. The cast off with Freshman Council I am now deeming as a forgiving event. So if you go and you take a selfie or you take a picture of your lantern or rubber duck and you send it to me or Courtney, that will count as basically like wiping away an unexcused absence off your record. If you have any questions about absences, please don't hesitate to talk to me or Speaker Pro Tempore Baber. But other than that, I look forward to the rest of the term with you guys. Like I said, I'm so excited to see what you do and how you serve the student body. Please keep pushing and keep writing legislation, and we will best support you, I guess the best way we know how. And with that, I will yield to questions. Are there any questions for myself? Seeing none, are there any other announcements on the floor? Seeing none, hold on one second. With no further announcements, is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. The Senate will now stand adjourned until Wednesday, January 17th, 2024. Also, if your chairperson asks you to meet, please don't leave. Come and speak to your chairperson to talk about a time.